Hello students, कैसे हैं आप लोग? So I hope you have understood the topic, that is nationalism in India, through the previous videos. Now we are on the verge of the ending of this chapter. Last video was covering the topic who participated in the civil disobedience movement of 1930 to 34. 30 to 34. Who were the people or communities that participated in the civil disobedience movement? Now we are covering who didn't participate in the civil disobedience movement. So in the last video we had discussed how the landlords and jamidars, they participated in large number in the civil disobedience movement. Then the business class and industrialists, Indian industrialists, how they participated. Then the third one was the how women participated in large number, large scale in the civil disobedience movement. And these were the three communities who participated, and in that topic also I told you, due to the participation of jamidars and landlords at many places, the small peasants and farmers, they got angry with this collaboration of Congress and the landlords, and they kept themselves away from this movement. Then due to the participation of business class, the working class remained aloof from this civil disobedience movement. But on the individual capacity, these workers also and peasants and farmers also, they participated in the various at the various places. Now we are covering who didn't participate, and I am again explaining to you, this is the individual choice. We cannot say that the whole depressed class, or here the Muslim organizations or Muslim League and all the Muslim communities, they did not give the support to the civil disobedience movement. What I mean to say that the majority people who were associated with these organizations did not participate in the civil disobedience movement. So these are the two associations, organizations. One is the depressed class organization association, and then the another one is the most prominent party which claimed that it was representing the whole Muslims in India, that was Muslim League. That party and their leaders and members and supporters didn't give support to the civil disobedience movement. So we start with the depressed class association. First thing we have to understand, for a long period of time, the Congress party, because initially it was the party of upper caste Sanatanis, high caste Hindu conservatives. That's why they did not raise the interest of the depressed class or the Dalit community people, and that is why the involvement of Dalits in this Congress party, that was very less in number. Now situation changed when Gandhiji came and took the command of Congress party. So one question can come, one is that is who didn't पार्टिसिपेट इन द सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट. उसमें आप ये दोनों कवर करेंगे, ठीक है, और उसमें आपको दो पॉइंट्स भी लिख सकते हैं, द वर्कर्स एंड द पीजेंट, स्मॉल पीजेंट्स एंड फार्मर्स. वो दो लाइन, पहली लाइन में आप बता सकते हैं फर्स्ट हेडिंग में, द वर्कर्स didn't participate due to the participation of the business class, Indian industrialists. The peasants, small farmers did not participate due to the Congress involvement with the landlords and jamidars. Then the third one will come the depressed class association, and the fourth one will be the Muslim League. तो इन दोनों को मिला के और उन दोनों को ऐड करके आप बता देंगे, तब आपका कंप्लीट आंसर बन जाएगा ये who didn't participate. या ये क्वेश्चन ऐसे भी पूछा जाता है आपसे, याद रखिए ये क्वेश्चन ये भी आपसे पूछ सकते हैं, लिमिट्स ऑफ CDM, सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट, तब भी आप यही लिखेंगे. अब हम बात करते हैं, हमने स्टार्ट किया था कि डिप्रेस क्लास, दलित पीपल, इनिशियली दे वर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड विद द कांग्रेस पार्टी बिकॉज द कांग्रेस पार्टी वाज डोमिनेटेड बाय द कंजर्वेटिव, हाई कास्ट हिंदू कंजर्वेटिव्स, and they did not protect or they ignored the interest of the Dalit community. Then Gandhiji came, he completely changed the scenario of Congress party, and he worked very hard for the upliftment of the Dalit people. He even named them Harijans. He lived in the Dalit bastis and did the scavenging work, the work of cleaning the toilets and the drainage, just to give the dignity to the work. So that was the contribution of Gandhiji, and you will also mention that Gandhiji even did the satyagrahas at many places for the entry of Dalits in the public places, in the temples, etc. So Gandhiji played a very important role, worked for the upliftment of Dalit community people. Question can be asked, what was the role of Gandhiji in the upliftment of the Dalit community people? So great leader, believed in equality. He named the Dalit people as Harijans, people of Hari. Hari means God. Then lived in the Dalit bastis, did the scavenging work, toilet cleaning work, just to show give the dignity of work. Then did satyagrahas for the upliftment or for changing the mind of the conservatives, so that they could treat the depressed class or depressed community people equally. So this was the contribution of Gandhiji, but there were many organizations, depressed class organizations, who believed that these are the social reforms, but until the Dalit community get the political power, till the situation of the Dalit or destiny of the Dalit would remain the same. And one of the great leaders who established this depressed class association in 1930, his name is B.R. Ambedkar. So B.R. Ambedkar, Baba Saheb, he established this organization, Depressed Class Association. एक नंबर का क्वेश्चन, you can note it down. Last year भी आया आपको कि who founded the Depressed Class Association. First time this question came. So आपको पता होना चाहिए, Depressed Class Association formed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar 1930. He believed that the destiny of Dalits would be changed only when they would get the political power. So that's why he raised the issues like reservation of for the Dalit community in the educational institutions, in the legislative assemblies, and he demanded the separate electorate. So when the second roundtable conference was going on, so it was going on December 1931, the demand, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar representing the depressed class, depressed community, and he raised the demand for separate electorate. What was this separate electorate? That means when the election should be conducted, separate constituencies should be given to the Dalit community according to their population, and only the Dalit leaders would stand, and only the Dalit community people would give their vote and elect their representative. It will ensure the political seats for Dalit community. So that was the demand, separate electorate of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the second roundtable conference, and he had a heated debate with Gandhiji because Gandhiji opposed this idea of separate electorate. Britishers wanted to give the separate electorate, wanted to give it to the Muslims and Dalit community because they wanted to adopt the policy of divide and rule. कि ये आपस में बढ़ जाएंगे और नेशनल मूवमेंट कमजोर हो जाएगा. एंड गांधी जी रियलाइज व्हाट वाज द प्लानिंग ऑफ द British government. That's why he opposed this idea of separate electorate. So this was a clash between Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Gandhiji, and finally this clash was resolved through this Pune Pact. A pact, an agreement was signed between Gandhiji and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in September 1932, which was known as Pune Pact. So third question is, what was the Pune Pact? तो आप पहले background बताएंगे. B.R. Ambedkar, representing the Depressed Class Association, in the second roundtable conference, he demanded for separate electorate. Gandhiji opposed this idea, and as a result, there was a debate between these two great leaders. And finally, the solution came through the Pune Pact of 1932. What was the Pune Pact? Under this Pune Pact, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar left his demand of separate electorate, and he accepted the idea of joint electorate. तो separate electorate को उन्होंने छोड़ दिया इस आइडिया को, और joint electorate को उन्होंने मान लिया कि there will be no constituencies divided between the depressed class and the upper caste. Same constituency, joint constituencies will be there, but joint electorates में reserved हो जाएंगी seats, and seats would be reserved for the Dalit community according to their population. So that was the Pune Pact. I hope you understood this. तो आप ये भी लिख सकते हैं इसमें कि who didn't participate in the civil disobedience movement, और आप इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर भी दे सकते हैं what was the Pune Pact, and you can even cover the topic कि what was the contribution of Gandhiji for the upliftment of Dalits. Now we are moving to this last topic. The why question can be asked, why Muslim organizations didn't support the civil disobedience movement. So आप लिखेंगे many political organizations, Muslim organizations oppose the idea of civil disobedience of Congress party and its programs and policies. And out of such organizations, which one the most prominent, most important one was the Muslim League, that was founded in 1906, again due to the policy of the Britishers, divide and rule. So they wanted to divide the Indian community so that it could weaken the national movement. So this Muslim League didn't support the civil disobedience movement. What was were the reasons for not supporting the civil disobedience movement? Here are the reasons you have to explain. Number one, failure of non-cooperation and Khilafat movement. So we know that non-cooperation and Khilafat movement ran together during 1921-22. Khilafat issue was there. Gandhiji supported that Khilafat issue, and the Khilafat committee gave the support to the non-cooperation movement. But this movement, when remained a failure and ended in February 1922, both Congress and the Khilafat committee blamed each other. And this later Khilafat committee turned out as the creator of Pakistan also. So one is the failure of the non-cooperation and Khilafat movement. Then the demand of the separate electorates of the Muslims in the Round Table Conference and on in various organizations or various committee program, and it was strongly opposed by the Congress leader, in particular Gandhiji. So Muslim League thought that their future under a Hindu majority state is not secure, and these people and the Congress leaders did not want to give them security. That's why Muslim League kept itself away from the Congress and its any agenda, whether it was the civil disobedience movement. Then the third one is that has been written in your book, association of some of the Congress leaders with the All India Hindu Mahasabha, which was a conservative, fanatic organization just like the Muslim League. So many of the Congress leaders were attending the meeting of Hindu Mahasabha, which was considered a conservative party. That's why Muslim League kept itself away. Then next one is the communal clashes. The communal riots were there. Often communal riots they took place in the different times at different reasons. That's why when the Hindu and Muslims, there were communal clashes between them. So that this distance, this duri, that was becoming bigger and wider. So communal clash is another reason. And last one is the two-nation theory by Muslim League. So this two-nation theory, Hindus and Muslims, they are two different communities and they cannot live together. That's why there should be two nations. That theory, your book is containing a paragraph that is related to Muhammad Iqbal. इसको अलामा इकबाल बोलते हैं. ये वही आदमी है जिसने सॉन्ग कंपोज किया था, सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा. तो ही प्रेजेंटेड दिस टू नेशन थ्योरी. ठीक है कि मुस्लिम्स कैन नॉट लिव विद हिंदू सेफली, दैट्स व्हाई देयर शुड बी अ सेपरेट नेशन. Later on, after 1930s, he presented this theory, and later on, Mr. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was the tallest figure, सबसे बड़े नेता थे वो मुस्लिम लीग पार्टी के, और उनको क्रिएटर ऑफ पाकिस्तान बोला जाता है. तो he also raised this issue of the two-nation theory. That's why they kept themselves away from Congress party and all its movement, like civil disobedience movement. And this two-nation theory finally led to the partition of our country. So now we have covered this topic, who didn't participate, two communities here, and two I have told you. I hope you have understood each and everything related to this chapter. Thank you. Now video is over.